Hello and welcome to Redshirt Cinema Club, a podcast about fandom and watching things with friends. We've watched a lot of disappointing sequels since starting this podcast, but today we're watching The Lost World, Steven Spielberg's 1997 follow-up to the film that changed cinema forever. How do you follow in the muddy footsteps of such a cinematic giant, with more dinosaurs, more action, and more Jeff Goldblum, and a T-Rex in San Diego? What could possibly go wrong? Hello and welcome to Redshirt Cinema Club. I am your host, Rob Pearson. We are joined today by Nathan Dighton.
Hello.
And David Jackson.
Hello.
Fresh from having watched The Lost World, Jurassic Park, the 1997 sequel to the biggest blockbuster of all time. Yeah. How is Steven Spielberg going to follow up such a massive success with a film that, when I was a child, I just thought it was the best thing I'd ever seen? I got to see this at the cinema. My granddad took me to see this at the cinema because he liked dinosaurs as well.
I'm imagining Hammond.
Yeah. I'll show you. And I was just like, wow, there's just dinosaurs straight away.
Yeah.
So many dinosaurs running around, new dinosaurs. Yeah. 2 T-Rexes.
Yeah.
Like
6 velociraptors.
So many
more.
velociraptors. Just
It's got the arithmetic of a sequel, isn't it?
Yeah.
You just double it.
They're just doing all of the things. That was a bit with the T-Rexes hitting a car in the rain.
Yeah.
More T-Rexes running after them. Oh,
baby T-Rex.
Baby T had it all.
Yeah.
Had it all. And, well, I'll get on to my opinion in a minute, but let me just first ask the both of you what you first thought of this film when you first saw it and what you thought of it having watched it yesterday. Let's start with David.
Yeah, I weirdly don't have a memory of watching this the first time. I'm sure I must have gone to the cinema because I loved Jurassic Park, as we discussed at length in our last episode, and went to the cinema to see that, and I would have been dead excited for this. And I have no real recollection of watching it. It's just sort of...
What does that tell us?
Yeah, and I think that I felt quite like how I feel now about it, which is mixed emotions, I think. I'm not sure how I felt about it then, but yeah, I have no real memory. How about you, Nathan? Do you remember seeing it the first time?
Yeah, I saw that kid clatter into a door.
Oh, that's right. That was the big thing.
That's all I really remember. That's the best thing in the movie. No, I do remember I remember really clearly the scene with the 2 T-Rexes and the trailer hanging off the cliffside. And I remember thinking that I was already probably trying to be slightly pretentious about films at that point. And I remember thinking that Julianne Moore on the glass, just the suspense of that, I remember thinking. The problem is I probably layered on. Every time because I was just thinking, it's like got this Hitchcock, and I was like, no, you didn't think that when you were 15 or 16. So I've obviously thought about that in the intervening years, but this is only the second time I've ever seen it. So I probably a bit like you, but with actual memories, Dave.
Yeah.
I remember thinking this isn't as good as the first one. It lacks a little something, but there were bits of it I enjoy. I think we all came out and went,
I do actually remember that moment, the glass and the whole trailer bit was like a TV spot at the time.
Right.
You know, a clip of the movie they were doing to sort of trail it. It would be in talk shows and things. Let's see a clip from and obviously that bit is very standout, and I do remember seeing that at the time and thinking that is amazing.
It's really long. There's stuff I enjoyed. We'll get to it, I'm sure, but there's stuff I enjoyed about that scene now, which isn't the obvious stuff.
Yeah.
What about you, Rob?
Well, I loved it as a kid. Just thought it was amazing, and I got the VHS, watched it a bunch of times. I remember going to my friend Tom's house. It must have been about 9 or 10 maybe at this time. No, I'd have been 11 or 12. And his dad came in, and I think I asked him, like, "Oh, Mr. Fitzgerald, have you seen The Lost World?" And he's like, "Yeah." It's way better than the first one, isn't it? And he was like, "No, I don't think so." And me and Tom both been like, "What? What are you talking about? My God, stupid old man."
This is who sequels are made for, isn't it? 11-year-old boys.
It's amazing. Just
the other one, but better.
And then last night I was, it's not as good as the first one, but it's still full of so many things that bring me happily to my childhood that I I just enjoy lots of the bits.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's the T-Rex in the trailer bit. Now it's the velociraptors in the long grass bit. Don't go into the long grass.
Yeah.
That's so good. We say it all the time.
He says
Doesn't
going into the long grass. And oh, God, I guess we're going in then. I don't think we should do this.
Poor RJ.
I'm dead. Yeah.
Poor RJ.
Very
Should
much
we
so.
do a quick synopsis? And on the grounds that it's similar to the first film, I really had shaved off almost all of the kind of sophisticated motivations of everyone involved.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
all I remember was there's another island full of dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Well, I do think I think it's quite a confused film, and part of that is this. It's very Phantom Menace opening crawl. You know,
Right.
let's go to John Hammond's house. Here's a bunch of lawyers. So there's a power struggle for a company. Like, oh God, what?
It's got that Ghostbusters 2 thing as well of like...
Rob won't get this reference,
the
but I might.
But the heroes from the previous film,
Yeah.
had just no one believed them.
They're down and out.
And their story had been, their careers are ruined.
Yeah.
At the beginning of Ghostbusters 2, Rob, some of the Ghostbusters are being Ghostbusters at a children's party.
I see.
And so it's got that, and Malcolm's in a similar spot.
Yeah.
Well, I again, that whole opening scene, I never paid any attention to as a child. It's like, blah, 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 island, go.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just get to dinosaurs.
But now there were loads of things that as an adult, I do recognise, like NDA. Ian Malcolm had signed an NDA not to talk about any of the things he'd
he's
seen
not
on the
got
island.
a leg to stand on.
But because he's such a chaos man,
Yeah.
he's like, no, I'm going to speak the truth. And he told the truth, and he's got in a lot of trouble for it, and everyone's mocking him. There's that absolute dickhead on the metro.
Yeah.
My God.
Yeah.
Imagine having
You're the guy.
Imagine having the audacity to just saunter up to a famous person from TV. And the thing he does, it's so shit. If I was Malcolm, like, mate, that is really crap. They actually do. They go like this and then do it properly.
Yeah.
Just he's there like with his gum and his stupid fucking hair. God, I hate that guy.
That guy, I really can remember. Like, he really stands out.
Yeah.
It's a standout
He
performance.
really is.
As a hateful guy.
He's
good.
horribly hateful. And then there's the little prologue scene, of course, with the for God's sake, Deirdre, leave her alone.
Oh, yes.
On the beach.
We're going to have some fun
We've
for
got some
once.
prawn. You love prawn. I do like prawn.
Kathy,
I will
darling.
say British people really get bad.
Shat on in
Yeah,
this
they
film.
really do. That
we are the
opening
worst.
family is terrible.
Careful, this suit is worth more than your education.
Yeah.
Well,
she wouldn't pour herself a glass of champagne. Edward.
Yes, I noticed that.
But did you see how there were 2 glasses of champagne and he's only poured the glass into one, suggesting that maybe she's having some marital difficulties, the 2 parents. They're sitting apart.
Do you think they might be having some difficulties?
I think so.
It didn't seem like the most loving relationship,
Yeah.
but
As a kid as well, just in terms of not realizing stuff, I thought that kid was dead. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? I thought, and then there's just a line, she's fine.
oh, she's fine. She's fine.
She's
But also,
been nibbled
Hammond,
by a Procop's or Nathan.
yeah, Hammond isn't the most trustworthy source for some of these things. She's
No.
fine. She'll never see again, but she's fine. It's the eyeballs, you see, delicious to a compy. I think that opening scene is actually the opening scene from the Jurassic Park novel. I think I'm right in saying. I don't know whether you can remember this, Rob, but I remember reading the book and thinking this is the Lost World, and I think we said last time in Jurassic Park the movie only borrowed about sort of 20% from the book,
think
and they are still picking scenes
I remember
from the book as will go on in the next couple of movies.
I remember very vividly the first scene in the book being like a clinic on an island somewhere in Costa Rica, and it's hammering down with rain, and there's like a doctor in like a clinic, and they bring in this patient who's got these horrific wounds that she's never seen before.
Yeah.
And she's like, what's happened to him? What's happened to him? And the only words he can get out are Raptor.
Yeah, that does ring a bell. Yeah.
Apparently, just
could've
on the
sworn.
scenes being moved around, apparently there was a motorbike scene from the first novel, which was only ever put into Jurassic World.
Oh.
That the motorbike scene that I
don't remember
vaguely
that.
remember from.
Don't remember the motorbike scene.
There's
Do
a
you
lot
not
of
remember Chris Pratt with a shit
With a-
moustache?
I
with a
I
raptor?
remember Chris Pratt in the film with the Raptors. He's
Yeah,
there
that's
on his
it.
bike, and the Raptors are like, "Yeah, we're on the mission too."
That's definitely not in the book. But
No,
yeah,
that's not in
my
the book.
God,
Just
I
on a bike,
hate
maybe.
those films. I hate that
We'll
man.
I really hate that, man.
hate those films.
We'll get there. She's got a good scream, has Deirdre.
Yes.
And I
Oh,
do
yeah.
like the transition where you're meant to think that
It's a brilliant
she's
transition.
screaming at Ian Malcolm, who's on the island.
Brilliant transition. Oh my God, it's Malcolm.
Yeah, that's very good.
And then so the whole chat with Hammond, how he is it Hammond's nephew?
It's his
I
nephew.
think I'd never picked that up before.
Yeah.
The horrible English man, Mr. Ludlow,
Yeah.
is Hammond's nephew, and he's wrestling control of InGen from Hammond because no one trusts or believes Hammond anymore. He's
Yeah.
getting old, and clearly he's on his deathbed as well. I
Yeah.
noticed all the drips there this time. So,
Yes.
he's very ill.
So
Yeah.
can we have, and I think we should do this regularly, a rating for the non-English performer doing an English accent, which is what we have in the case of Junior Hammond. Obviously, Rob, from the looks of it, didn't realise that he
Yeah.
wasn't English. So
No.
that's got to be a 10 out of 10 from you then.
Yeah, I mean, I did even wonder whether it was actually he was supposed to be like just a very, 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 very posh American. Do you know what I mean? Where like
do get people
maybe
with
he's been to
international
Oxford
accents.
and stuff. Like I've been to Oxford. I studied at Oxford.
Oh,
But yeah, I mean, it wasn't great.
Well, it doesn't sound like any person I know.
No.
I live in.
No.
I live in England.
That's true. But yeah,
I would give it a 6. It's not bad.
It's not bad.
I didn't notice when I was a kid.
No, I didn't notice that he wasn't English. I just thought he was putting on like a ridiculously pompous accent
yeah.
for the sake of, you've got to do these things to make it obvious to the audience that you're the baddie.
Yeah.
Like a really posh English accent is code for baddie.
That's
It's
true.
baddie.
It's Arliss Howard is the name of the guy. He's in Full Metal Jacket, which is the only other thing
yeah.
I think I've seen him in. He's like the best friend in
Right.
Full Metal Jacket. He's
Yeah.
very good in it.
Yeah, not a good guy in this.
Well, no, but an effective villain for sure.
Very effective,
because
yeah.
it's just horrible.
Yeah,
And they
it's
do
horrible.
lots to bring that across. I think really undermine him. He's so rubbish.
Well, it's almost like you get a version of Hammond that you just get to hate. He's
Yeah.
got all of Hammond's bad qualities and none of his good qualities.
Yes.
Well, I think Hammond's just a nice man. Ultimately, this is the big difference, right? Everyone in Jurassic Park, there's no hateful characters in Jurassic Park. Maybe Dodson, but you don't know him enough to hate him. Even Nedry, like
Oh,
he's an abominable man, but he's not detestable in the same way that Ludlow is in this.
Ludlow's got that kind of effete, like privilege. It's privilege, which
Yes.
is the thing, right? He's just not had to work, and that's what sets him apart from Hammond. Like the ruthless child of someone who's actually created.
Yeah.
You kind of you can empathise a little bit with Nedry in the first one. Like he's down on his luck. He's underpaid. He's clearly not a hard worker, and he's been the victim of some kind of blackmail bribery scheme. Despite the fact he's going along with it.
Yeah.
He's not in the same league as
He has a
Ludlow.
motivation
Yeah.
that is understandable with isn't just I'm evil.
Yeah.
Money.
It's like I'm in a situation and I'm dealing with it in probably not a very good way, but he's not just I'm just evil. I like to see things burn. Or just horrible.
Well, I guess Ludlow's motivation is he wants to build a nice dinosaur zoo in San Diego.
Yeah. But I think beneath that is I'd like lots of money and power.
Yeah.
That's the real motivation. In this scene, we also see Lex and Tim.
Yes.
I really hate this interaction.
Really, I quite like it.
I didn't like it. It feels so like it's just for the audience to be like, it's the kids. I wonder what the kids. Wow, look at that. They've grown up. Wow. And I just found their interaction quite stilted and weird. It's just a weird conversation.
It is
They
weird.
just leave when Malcolm is arguing with Ludlow. They just walk off at one point. They're like, let's get, which I think is okay, but it's such a, they don't answer questions directly. He's like, what's wrong? And
they're
just
teeing
like,
up the next scene.
it's very, it's all very, I just found it doesn't add anything apart from, oh, look, the kids are a bit older and now that's what they look like now. That's,
I didn't mind it. I quite like seeing them.
I liked seeing them, and I think you'd have like a more of a. We went through that terrible thing together, didn't we? Remember when we went on that cycle ride from
Cologne.
Gamescom to Brighton?
Yeah.
I remember you guys being in a
Dave and I were in the van, and you were cycling.
Yeah.
But everyone we were on that trip with,
I have a little bond.
you just had a little bond with, and
there's
every
camaraderie.
time I've seen anyone that was on that trip over the subsequent years, we
Yeah.
would just have a little
Imagine if there had been dinosaurs.
memory about that
We'd,
trip.
we'd
Yeah.
be so bonded.
Nobody died.
Nothing bonds people together like a terrible traumatic situation that you shared.
Yeah, and to be fair, that cycle ride wasn't terribly traumatic.
No.
But it was quite.
I at the time I was like, this is the worst week of my life.
It was stress. I think it was.
No,
I think it
Gamescom was stressful as hell.
Yeah.
We were up to like 4 a.m. every day making videos, and then did that cycle ride.
Yeah.
So I love this, like everyone in the world comparing their trauma. It's like, we had to work making videos at a games conference.
We played
and
some
then
games.
We did a charity.
I'm with
cycle
Rob. It
ride.
was very stressful.
Awful.
For Rob and I, just because we were in the van and we felt very responsible for everyone's safety and taking the shortest possible route everywhere.
Yeah.
And it was like, I think once we missed a turning, and it's just like, oh God, we've sent them like.
Well, I changed the sat nav to bike route. So this will be good. And then we came across a route that the van couldn't go down.
Yeah.
And everyone was
It needs
very
to be
angry with
van
us.
and bike route.
So anyway, very much our Jurassic Park.
Yes, exactly. That
cycle ride.
And I think Steven Spielberg is
Quiet,
interested
all
in,
of you. They're approaching the dual carriageway.
Yeah, that's right. It was like that. It was very much like that. But yeah, I just felt it wasn't. I liked seeing them in as much as like you're supposed to like it. Like, oh, it's the kids from the first movie. Now they're a bit older. That's interesting. But I didn't think it was really necessary and didn't add anything to the story at all for me. And I remember actually as a kid and even now, the setup to this film is just quite weird, I think.
It is a bit weird.
Next place they go to is the sort of warehouse where they're setting up all the gear. His daughter arrives. Like, I don't know how old she is. She's just got a cab there by herself. And he sort of doesn't even say goodbye to her. She just disappears. It's all very strange. And I suppose it's kind of rushed and meant to be exciting.
It's just that we've got to get them to the island.
And obviously they've set up, and I don't think this lands for me either, like the relationship with Sarah Harding. It's just so, it feels, I don't know, it feels so out of the blue, which is, you know, which is silly because what has it been, 4 years since the events of Jurassic Park? But it feels very much like we're being told. Of course we're being told, but you know, like being told this, they have a relationship. This is the relationship. This is important.
Yeah.
Rather than me,
Well,
you don't even know who this person is that you're talking about.
It's absolutely a case of exposition and character storytelling through just dialogue. Whereas in the first one, and that happens a lot, obviously it's fine. But in the first film, it's one of those perfect examples of how you're never really told what anyone does.
Yeah.
It's just acted out and shown to you in a really effective.
Yeah, I think
way.
we talked about efficiency in Jurassic Park, and I think it's super efficient. And I think the Lost World, at least at this part, is a bit flabby and a bit like, it's a bit slow getting the wheels turning with like, I've got to introduce these new characters and some new relationships, and why there's another island that's basically Jurassic Park 2. And then we finally get to the island. It's a bit more like things are happening now. This is a bit more like the movie you probably wanted to see and expected to see.
Jim, one of the things I thought was just the obviousness of sort of the moving parts of they could have had anybody from the first film, and then in signing on one of the stars, you then write appropriate backstory. Like, I didn't find the stuff with his kid particularly convincing. It's probably the worst thing in the film, to be fair. And I think the performances are fine. I just think that there isn't much there to, like, it's so obviously like, oh, here is his arc, here's the thing that he does, and here's his relationship, here's something to care about. Well, the kids worked in the last movie, let's have some more kids. I didn't enjoy that, and I guess there's just, we need a group of experts, and why would he go to the island? Because his girlfriend's there, and like, even though he seemed like someone who was completely the opposite of no commitments guy. Here he is with a bunch of commitments.
Exactly.
So
it
felt very kind
Maybe
of like
being at Jurassic Park changed him. And there's loads of stuff in the first. I'm always on the lookout for a future ex-Mrs. Malcolm. That's a great line that he has.
Brilliant. That's exactly what I mean. I feel like this is kind of undermining that line. But like you said, people should change. And I did like one of the things that probably made me enjoy the Lex and Tim scene was how genuinely pleased he was to see them. And like speaking to Rob's point about having been through something, but also I like that this very kind of standalone independent rascal character like genuinely is pleased to see the kids. That's nice. So maybe I'm going in different directions, but I feel like that first film, this seamless, you can't see the cracks. It's obviously is engineered in the same way, but it's kind of just sublime. And then this is like a sort of a slightly clumsy, it's got like video game like reboot vibes. I don't know, it's kind of like, okay, fine.
I want to mention a line that really clangs around here for me, because I remember as a kid watching this and just sort of laughing because I thought it was so ridiculous. And I think it's just the delivery. It's just bad. And it's when they're on the boat to the island and Vince Vaughn is translating, Nick Van Owen is translating, and it's just like the classic, and he's just saying exactly what he's saying. Blah, blah, I won't come back. I'll be there in 2 hours. Just call me. I'm not hanging around. What do they call the islands? Or whatever they call them. And then he speaks Spanish. Las cinco mate. And what does that mean? It means the 5 deaths. He says.
It means Sun Island.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't speak Spanish, but I reckon I'd have worked that out.
Yeah.
I think I'm muertes.
Yeah. It's so great. It's a classic little trope, isn't it? The translator checks. Did I hear that right? Did you just say the
I think
5
I'm
deaths?
muertes.
Before I translate this important line, did you just say?
Sí,
Sí,
cinco muertes.
I think I'm muertes.
So why would you need a mathematician on this expedition?
Who's the mathematician? Just Malcolm.
Yeah.
He's chaotician, isn't he? Yeah, because of who's counting the dinosaurs? Nate? The guy with the
There are
guy with
twice
the
as
camera?
many this time. It's really important because on the first one it was kind of like, the chaotician, because you got to check the system and just because we need to let the insurance people know we can open the park. So you get someone who's like, well, this is chaos could happen here,
Yeah.
I guess. And this time we have established that chaos will happen.
Yes.
So why is he back?
Great
I guess
question.
at this point he's got on the ground.
Well, also, he was
dino
there. He was
experience.
taken to Jurassic Park by the lawyer as like I want you to find problems with this.
Yes.
You're defending the investors. You're here to find
no
problems.
idea
He finds a lot of problems.
I don't know. I don't know why he'd want him on this one.
No,
No.
I don't. And also, speaking of like needing a mathematician, it really clanged for me as well that he's like, I'm going now. I'm going to go and get her, and I'm bringing her back. And he leaves Hammond's office, and then Hammond counts on his fingers the number of people in the team. Yeah. 4. That's it. Oh, I did it.
Yes, well done. But also,
So he does need a mathematician.
Hammond's whole goal here is a PR exercise, right?
Yeah.
He needs to sway. He needs a big public backing to keep the park safe and isolated.
Yeah.
And one of the people he chooses is a person who, at present, has a very poor public rating.
Right.
Someone who is ridiculed and not believed by anyone
Yes.
at this point. So imagine if Malcolm, everything going well, appears on TV and says, hey guys, there's another island with dinosaurs on,
Yeah.
and it's great.
Yeah.
Don't anyone go there and interfere.
Yeah.
I guess that's true.
It's just going to be more of a... Anyway, I don't think
So-
anyone cares about that, really.
No.
But Richard Schiff, and he's the other expert, right?
Yeah.
What's his... I didn't really understand. I really liked his character, and I like Richard
He's good.
Schiff a lot.
He's good.
Odin from God of War Ragnarok, remember?
That's what he... Yes, yes.
Oh yeah, I didn't put 2 and 2 together. Of course.
He's the chief of staff in the... Or is it the... Anyway, he's in the West Wing.
Right.
And that's where I know him from most.
Yeah.
He's great in the West Wing. I think he's great in this, but I don't really know... What's his character? Is he just
He's the tech guy.
tech guy?
He does like
He's
just
got the
field
high hide.
operations. High hide, yeah.
Yeah.
He's got the satellite phones that don't work.
Is he one of the 4?
Yeah, he's one of the 4. Yeah.
Right.
It's
Sarah, who's
Nick
the
Van Owen.
photojournalist.
I've forgotten his name.
Eddie Carr.
Eddie Carr does the cars, and Malcolm.
Eddie and Malcolm, yeah.
And unbeknownst to them, Kelly.
And I like that there was all that talk of experts and the documentarian, and he's using a fucking rubbish little JVC digicam.
Man, there's a lot of product placement in this.
Right.
A lot.
I
A
guess
lot.
that's the thing. It's kind of like, you could have this at home. It's like, well, he wouldn't be shooting dinosaurs.
There's
with
even
it.
a lot. She even says, Sarah even says when they arrive there, is that a Nikon? Can I
Right.
take that?
I did think she got so close to the camera with the Nikon.
Yeah.
I was like,
There's-
what kind of... Oh, it's exactly that.
There's
kind of
obviously like later we'll see. I don't know. There's the petrol station. That's probably not a bit of product placement. It's just a good bit. There's another bit of product placement that I've forgotten. But yeah, I was just like, oh man, this is like they know they're onto something. Something we didn't talk about, by the way, in Jurassic Park. I just want to mention really quickly, which is related, is the incredible business exercise that is putting. I really wanted to mention this in the podcast. Putting the merchandise for the movie in the movie.
Oh, yeah.
I was just like, that is insanely,
That's
incredibly smart. And so this time they
think
can't
if
do
there's
that.
other
They can't
movies
do
which
the
have done
merchandise for Jurassic Park in this movie, but what they can do is some product placement instead.
Well, he's there going, this is, he's talking about prizes and how this is like career making. And I was like, you've got no lights and you're shooting on a fucking
Yeah.
handicam. You've got nothing.
He
Yeah,
has also got a Nikon.
he's got a Nikon. That's all you need.
I wonder
That's
if
all
they
you
can
need.
shoot video.
Not back then. It's
No,
a film
she's-
camera, because I did think about that as well. She almost gets killed by her Nikon. And
Yeah.
when Nikon, like, well, I'm not sure. Was that? We actually have a very quiet film rewind
The
sound.
dinosaur doesn't mind her whapping on his face. As soon as the camera starts rewinding, he goes nuts. Stupid
Did
baby.
everyone else think the dinosaurs in this movie, the CG in this movie, looks noticeably worse than Jurassic Park?
Oh, I didn't think so.
No.
I really did. I think when the Stegosauruses arrive, I really thought, and I don't know whether this is true, but it just seemed like a little downgrade. I don't know whether they had less time, less money for those effects.
I saw more animatronics. I think I watched them both at home, so it's relatively fair test. But what about you, Rob?
No, I thought the CG looked better, but I thought there was too much of it, and they were too ambitious with it. Like the shot, just a
maybe
big
that's
clear shot of the Stegosaurus is moving across. It happened. It's there for ages. Like the shot that I really noticed in Jurassic Park looking way worse than I remember was the Gallimimus flock running away from the T-Rex. It's like, oh wow, that looks really dated.
Yeah.
And that was, probably the only dinosaur we see in the film that is just CG.
Yeah, right.
Only CG, and a whole load of them running.
Yeah.
But I thought it looked better, but there was too much of it. And
not always.
The
Maybe
Stegosaurus was very noticeably.
It's maybe also full daylight. Like there's a lot more daylight
nighttime
dino in
scenes
this.
are- yeah.
Nighttime a bit easier to hide and they really good sell it in with some rain and stuff.
Yeah.
It looks great, but more
all
daytime
the little
dinos.
dinosaurs. I mean, the close-ups are just
Compies.
like, they're just really good models with
Yeah.
and the necks are just
I
thrashing
loved
around.
the T-Rex baby when you first meet it in the nest and it's just eating that thing.
Yeah.
But it's brilliant. Like it's clearly just a man with his arm down a T-Rex's neck. The way it's really good. I really enjoyed it.
I was going to say that the ultimate reason that I don't think this film really compares at all to the first one is that the first one is about whenever I think about Jurassic Park, I think of the uplifting, hopeful music, and I think of Grant's face looking before you even see the dinosaur. And it's a film about, oh my God, we've done this. It's a film about wonder. And I think it's a film that is grappling with that problem, knows it, isn't just going to repeat it, which is, I guess, admirable and a good idea. What it replaces it with is a different kind of film where they don't, which is why I think they immediately just like, here's a bunch of dinosaurs because you're here for dinosaurs. It's not trying to do the same trick, but it is an emptier sort of. It feels like a sort of a sharper, less. I don't know. It's less ambitious in a way. It's just like, dinosaurs can be scary. I don't know what it's about in the same way. It's like a survival movie.
There's like a little clumsy environmentalist theme going on, isn't there? That's probably like the thrust of it. Like Malcolm even like draws attention to the absurdity of it, where he's talking to Hammond and goes, "Oh, you've gone from capitalist to naturalist in 4 years," and that's almost what this film has done. It's gone from this film about containment and mankind not being able to contain and control the things that it thinks it can or has a right to because of money, and now it's very much like Pete Postlethwaite even says to Nick Van Owen, "You're that Earth First bastard, aren't you?" Pete Postlethwaite, best thing in this film.
He's fantastic.
He's doing a lot with, I would say, a very little.
Yes, he really is.
Really brilliant in this.
I think it's being quite a confused movie. I think that in Jurassic Park it's very simple. You like all the characters, you want them all to live.
Yeah.
Maybe Nedry aside.
That's kind of what I mean. I feel like the situation is interesting enough that you can have characters who are all basically positive and likable.
Yeah.
And here I think you need villains.
But I find the villains a bit, I don't know, confusing. The relationship is confusing. It makes the good guys go bad a little bit in terms of sabotaging their camp. It's like they've got your characters on the island who you like and you want them to survive, and there's the Malcolm's there to take them back, but they want to stay. His daughter's there. That like adds a complexity. What's going to happen? I want them all to live. Yeah. And then this whole other army of guys arrives with all their kit, and they're like abusing the dinosaurs basically.
The thing is, and because the other humans are just sort of, that first party of our experts are along for the ride, or they're not going to be able to challenge this big expedition.
Yeah.
So you're in this horrible position of like 10-15 minutes of just watching dinosaur abuse.
Yes.
And it's like no one's going to stop it. That isn't, I don't know what I want to happen in that bit of the movie apart from it to stop.
It's just we're going to show dinosaurs in this quite ambitious set piece.
Yeah.
Parasaurolophuses, Pachycephalosauruses.
Yeah.
What? Why do you have so many dinosaurs?
Friar Tuck and
Friar
Elvis.
Tuck and Elvis. He's brilliant. It's so good. He's
good.
the one character you probably could be in Jurassic Park and not feel out of place.
Oh yeah, that's a good shout.
He's you know him. You know him straight away. He's principled. He's there. Just wants to hunt the T-Rex buck. Doesn't care about the money men. Doesn't give a shit about the environmental thing. He's just there to do his thing that he wants to do.
And when his friend is killed, that means more to him than the success of the hunt.
You didn't make it.
Yeah.
Do you know that I did think that though that his very final line, just to stick with him, was a complete cop out. Because he's like this intense, all I want to do is kill this one fucking thing.
Yeah.
And at the end he's like, I spent too much time around it.
Yeah. Well, you're a hunter.
That was your choice.
In the company of death. But I think that's like quite strong, isn't it? Because even him, who's basically his life is hunting things, big game hunter.
Yeah.
He is so appalled by Ludlow. It's like, here's the real killers. These are the real bastards. The
money men.
The posh men in the suits. Not this quite principled man who all he wants to do is put some tranquilizer darts in a T-Rex.
I thought it was quite a sharp left turn.
It's that's a good little monologue in the car, isn't it?
Yes.
Where and he's a big part, like I said, of them continually painting Ludlow out as this bad guy and undermining him. Pete Postlethwaite, I can't remember his actual name, his character name. Roland. He's a good one for this, and they're in the car. Oh, you want to sit down here? If that's what you want to do, that's fine. Listen to me, I'm in charge. Blah, blah, blah. He just goes on and
So set up base camp here. We're in a swamp. We're in the middle of the Rex nest for all I care.
Yeah, by all means, do whatever you want, but I'm here for one thing. You can keep my fee. And I just like Ludlow's just like, yeah, great, cool, whatever you want. It's very.
Well done, Roland.
Yeah,
what a guy.
Yeah, he is good. And I didn't like the sabotage. I guess that I get it. I don't like the way the dinosaurs are being treated, but it just feels stupid, really, to sabotage that camp and destroy all that equipment. It doesn't help either party, and then
it really causes some big problems.
It does. It causes some big problems. A lot of people to die because of it.
Why do they do it?
So that we can have a Triceratops charging through the thing.
But
Triceratops gets to have some action now.
That's a scary little bit, isn't it?
Because they know that. No, what
they do it because they want to win. I think. As much as anything.
What does winning look like?
Winning
looks like dinosaurs charging, and this is the dinosaur film now. It's all about there being dinosaurs. Triceratops was just sick and injured in the first one. This time, Triceratops gets its moment. And he says, Ludlow has his last line to the investors on his Zoom call, doesn't he? And that's why the park will be great. Bang!
Yeah.
Triceratops comes through. Yeah, everyone in the cinema's cheering.
But this is what I mean about
moment.
The Phantom Menace. Winning means that Hammond gets his photographed so he can go public, so he can retain control of InGen. It's like, ugh.
I just don't think this is a kind of film that is going to stand up to any kind of close scrutiny of the motivations.
That's
and
fine.
and plots
I
of the
literally meant
characters.
when they're like, well, let's sabotage it. I just can't remember what they said. That's what I meant.
I think it's a mixture of they're appalled by the animal cruelty, and Vince Vaughn, Nick Van Owen he's the Earth First guy. And he's worked with Greenpeace, although because he could meet women. So he
was hiding his true saboteur intentions. At that point, I thought.
So he just wants to sabotage it. I think with the veil of they are hurting animals. And I'm not up for that.
Yeah.
But also there is a team spirit, kind of like our team are here. We're going to win. We're going to do the thing we're here to do. I think it's a bit confused.
And then how do they get to the situation? Do they find in the camp? Do they realise? Oh my god!
They find a padlock that has been. Do you mean how do the bad guys realise that it's sabotage?
No, how do we get to the trailer situation?
Well, yeah. So
I saw this movie 2 days ago.
Pete Postlethwaite has chained the T-Rex down, the baby,
because he wants
to lure the
its leg. Yeah,
and so Nick Van Owen finds it. I was like, I'm going to rescue this, and against Sarah Harding's better judgment, they take it back to the trailers to save it.
And they do that.
Yeah.
They do that, and we've reached the kind of arguably one of the best scenes in the movie.
I think we get to the big dinosaur chasey bits way too soon. That's my sort of I love the build up, the slow gradual tension in Jurassic Park. It takes an hour before anything properly bad happens.
Yeah.
And having looked at the IMDb trivia now, one of the bits that disappointed me most was that screenwriter David Coop, apparently when he was writing this, he had a little post-it note from featuring a
child.
quote from a child
Yeah.
whose complaint for the first Jurassic Park was, "Oh, made me wait too long to see the dinosaurs."
Just don't do another boring bit on an island.
So
Yeah.
he had that in mind. And why would you listen to a child's opinion?
I don't know. Well, because children thought that Jurassic Park was the best film. Like you did.
Exactly.
The
Yeah.
best film. But then you thought this was the best film ever as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so
He
I
was-
mean, he did it right. He got it right.
that same child probably thought this is brilliant.
But that child loved Jurassic Park and loved The Lost World. The adults loved Jurassic Park and didn't like The Lost World as much.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
You're not
wow.
wrong. It's not a sophisticated film.
But you can't. The thing is, you can't make them wait for the dinosaurs, as we discussed. Like that ship has sailed in
Yeah.
Jurassic Park. This is like
It's like
people are here to see dinosaurs, and then you don't want to just see dinosaurs eating some trees and people going, "Oh my god, it's It's like, yeah, we've done this. We need the dinosaurs to do something.
Do you know, it shows the genius of, for example, an Aliens.
Yeah.
Where you're doing a different thing now. How do you have to do that thing as well as you did that first thing?
Yeah.
So difficult. And I think that you can't have the slow build up. I've already seen it done. You've already teased me. with
Oh
the
man,
dinosaur.
you've just made me reimagine Aliens as Jurassic Park 2, and it's so good. I haven't scrutinized this at all, but like
I see what
like
you're saying.
there's like a research station, and people have died, and and it's on an island nearby, and they go there,
There's
and
a
there's
ho-
like
there's a second
there's dead
site.
people here, and what's going on? Oh, it would be so good.
It would be great.
It would be great, and we know it's dinosaurs, and they don't know because they don't know about Jurassic Park because the NDAs.
The company.
Yeah, it's been stolen from us. That's such a better film.
And they've got to force Ian Malcolm to go like Ripley, and he's like, "No, I don't want to go."
James Cameron could have made that movie. He could have made the sequel because he wanted to make the first. This is great.
Wasn't there something? Yeah, he wanted to make the first
He
one.
wanted to make the first one. Oh my god!
There we go. More,
Wow.
More Spielberg.
I'm so sad. I've never been so sad at something that doesn't exist.
So the lads are in the hide.
Yeah, there's some good lines in this bit. I thought Malcolm's good. He hates this. What are you doing? You're all idiots. They're like, Kelly realizes she's the first one to realize that dinosaurs will come here, and so he takes her away up to the high hide. He doesn't abseil out of the high hide very well, which I enjoyed. And the dinosaurs come and they're very angry. And I really liked his sort of like the realization of, it's very strange, isn't it? T-Rexes being parents is a strange
Well,
concept.
can we talk about the first time you hear the roar of the T-Rex? Well, that was pretty good. Like
From the high hide.
We've waited a long time to see an adult T-Rex in this film. Well, maybe 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And we know the baby's in the trailer, and they're all talking, blah, 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 and you just hear that roar from maybe like a mile away. And you're
Yeah.
like, ooh, the T-Rex has found, it's gone back to its nest and discovered its baby's not there.
Yeah.
I'd like to see just the fly on the wall, the fly on the tree of that scene. Oh, a big long day hunting. Oh,
What the
hell? Where's my kid?
God's sake. Yeah, and then you see the trees.
Yes.
Obviously, again, quite like the first movie. You just see the trees
They're
moving
high.
from the high hide.
Yeah.
I became very distracted by the thought that it was being held up by a pulley system from a car on the ground. And I was like, what? The T-Rex will just smash that car up and your high hide's going to just fall. It made me uncomfortable.
What if the trees are? What is it being held? It doesn't matter.
Good, yeah.
It doesn't matter. A
Don't
glimpse
know.
of Rob's face.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to discuss what the high
I wanna
hide's attached
know.
The
to.
high hide is a great bit in the book.
Is
It's a
it?
really good bit in the book.
I've not read this book.
Does it say what it's attached to?
No, I can't remember. It probably does. But I was a kid. It was just like, yeah, they're gone up high. Dinosaurs. Look, Dodson's in the book.
Really?
Dodson.
Dodson. I think he some of his motivations and character traits are put onto the nasty dinosaur abusers.
Right.
But basically, his plan in the first film failed, obviously.
Yeah.
So he goes to this island to try and steal some dinosaur eggs.
See,
Yeah.
this to me would have been a better film. It's basically his company versus
Right.
InGen, and they're
Right.
racing
Yeah.
to get the
Yeah.
thing. That's a much better thing
See,
than
he
just
comes
like
along-
Mean Men and Greenpeace.
He's there
Yeah.
with two cronies, and Sarah Harding actually goes on their boat to the island. She learns, oh, you're going to this island as well. Well, I am as well. I'll hop on your boat. And you get how bad Dodson is when halfway across to the island, he asks her, oh, so who are you out here with? And she's like, oh, no one at the moment. I'm being met in like 3 days. And he throws her off the boat to drown.
Oh my God.
And and he gets his comeuppance eventually.
Her nick on camera.
It's Sarah Harding and
They're water
Dodson
resistant.
hiding from a T-Rex under a car at one point.
So they have to like be pals in duress.
But to save herself, Harding kicks him out from underneath the car,
that's
and
murder.
he gets eaten by a T-Rex.
That is murder.
And she runs away and is saved.
Oh,
Wow.
But he's
Not
he's
sure.
horrible. He's horrible in it.
yeah. That sounds bad. That all sounds bad. I
I
like
do-
that he's in it though.
I prefer the clear motivation.
Yeah.
I'd quite like that. The problem was he was a throwaway character in that first film. I think that they did try and get a draft of that up and running. That's what was my understanding.
It is strange. It is a clearer thing than the internal politics of a giant corporation, which is
Yeah, I hope InGen wins.
yeah.
Don't worry, they will.
But you're also relying on audiences to remember that guy from the cafe
That's the
in
thing.
the first film with the hat.
That's
He's
true.
the main bad guy.
But I guess but it could just be another the
Skip
people who
forward
know
to Jurassic
know.
World. Yeah, we need you to remember that scientist.
Yeah,
from this one
exactly.
scene.
Remember he was barely in it. Well, now he's back and he's everything. But yeah, so they're in the trailer, and I like the weirdness of them, like just watching the two T-Rexes looking in at their baby being taken care of, and they're just very intimidating, and them putting the T-Rex outside and thinking that that's the end of the interaction is like just a good bit, I think, where she's like, well, I think that's academic.
She's smiling as well.
She's like, got a good bit for my book now. I've just proved that T-Rex is a really good parent.
the T-Rexes
And he's
look
like,
amazing.
this is going to be bad. That's a good bit. That's the bit I wanted to say. It's just, this is going to be bad.
My favourite bit in this, as I said before, it was all about the visual kind of suspense and the idea that you would be. I just loved that window was the floor, and it was cracking, and you could see that the fall that awaited our heroes. Now this scene for me is all about Richard Schiff and his various ropes and cables.
I know.
And the thing was, I think before I was just like, I don't know, just a blur. It didn't really land with me. This time, because I like him as a performer, and also because he's competent. He's not an idiot. And actually, he's just in a very difficult situation. He saves them.
He's an absolute hero.
Yeah.
His car is being torn apart by the biggest dinosaurs he's ever seen.
Yeah.
Who want to eat him, and he is still on the floor, still pressing the accelerator.
But even before they arrive, he's like, I'm going to go and get my rope. I'm going to go and get my cable.
Yeah.
Oh, the rope's come off. Got to go and sort the rope out. Got to go and reattach the cable.
Yeah.
It's getting closer and closer, and he falls over. And I think I read that before. I was like, oh, this guy.
Right.
He's wait, put the cable on, just do the stuff. And this time I was like, he's just methodically working through problems.
He's just a really difficult situation
very
he's
hard thing
dealing
to
with
do.
by
He is
himself.
dealing with it. And there's, you feel for him, don't you, where you ask them, do you need anything else? And they do their funny
line.
Yeah.
McDonald's order. And his face just goes, oh, fuck's sake, just for a little bit before
Yeah.
he's like back onto his job.
I found it quite strange that the rope they're on goes loose, and he fixes it, and no one says anything, and then she just tries the rope again, and she's like, "Oh, the rope's fixed." I don't understand why. Someone didn't just shout down like,
Do they
"I fixed the
save
rope."
themselves by all holding on to the bottom of the trailer at that point?
Yes, it's very unbelievable.
Unbelievable
Yeah.
save by
Yeah.
all three of them.
They all drop,
Wow.
and they all manage to somehow jump off of the rope and
Incredible.
grab the bottom of the trailer.
And that's proper Nathan Drake level stuff.
And the idea is that they're hanging onto the rope and the trailer falls around.
falls
Yes.
perfectly around them.
That
yeah.
is also slightly unlikely.
And the car falls past them. And I wondered, I didn't know Nathan.
And there are dinosaurs. Dinosaurs aren't real. Just want to point that out.
But I don't know whether this had a 3D release at the time. But there's there's a big tire that flies up and almost hits them,
I hadn't seen that before.
which I guess is just sort of a funny thing. Just without 3D, it's just
I
like,
did not
they
find
almost
it
got
funny.
hit again. They're still in peril.
I
But
like
yeah,
how
this-
the T-Rexes have also. We've got one trailer over the edge. That's probably enough now.
Yeah,
That's got them. Let's go back.
yeah,
to our
that'll do.
nest.
That'll do.
Yeah.
Hang on a minute. What's that?
What
is
is
that car?
that noise? There's someone else. I
Is there someone
forgot.
else there? I'm not having that. Come
You.
back. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was sad that he got eaten.
I was sad.
I was
like
sad.
he didn't deserve it.
No, he's just a nice guy. And again, he was doing everything right until the last minute. He didn't flee.
No.
I can't see. I'm a nice guy. I can't see me sitting in that car. I think I'd run away
He didn't.
and try.
It's the first bit of unnecessary dinosaur eating people porn that we get here.
Yeah.
Like
It's a horrible. It's one of the
He's
worst deaths in the
torn
movie.
in half in two. I
Yeah.
did a video about 3 or 4 years ago for some work we were doing for someone else. The top 10 worst deaths in Jurassic Park.
Right.
And I ranked this as number 2.
Yeah.
What was number 1?
The one in Jurassic World where the woman gets eaten by 3 different dinosaurs and eventually the mosasaurus.
This person gets ripped in 2, and this lady gets torn into more than 3. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Horrible
true.
death. Who would you rather have seen eaten? Vince Vaughn. Yes, correct. I would rather have seen
Vince Vaughn.
Yeah, I became convinced he was going to get eaten in his moment of heroism, which is running to the communications array and turning it on and talking on the radio. I was like, oh, he's definitely going to die here.
It's so funny because as a performer, like obviously this is early days for Vince Vaughn.
Yeah.
And he's gone on to have an enormously successful career. And he does comedy
Yeah.
and even romantic comedy and sort of that sort of bro comedy stuff that he did in the noughties. He's perfect for that. And then when he's kind of like, he's got this look when he's being like, I'm actually a serious action guy.
Yeah.
He's rubbish. He is rubbish. He was, what's that? The True Detective series that he was in.
Yeah.
Blue Balls, but of the Heart, all of that stuff. Obviously, he didn't write that line, and that line is a shame. But that whole, as soon as he's serious,
Yeah.
it's a bit like Will Ferrell. I'm just like, no.
That's a good point.
No.
Yeah. That
Although
True
I didn't-
Detective
I-
really rings true for me.
I didn't think he was terrible in this particularly.
No, but his first line is, or near first line is, Los Cinco Muertes. The 5 deaths. I'm like, oh God, Vince, no, that didn't work for me
he
at all.
doesn't have much gravitas.
No, he doesn't.
He's very tall, though.
I do want to just shout out, we kind of touched on it, but just specifically the glass spider cracking away from her fingers. It's
Hitchcockian
so good.
is what I thought when I first saw this film.
Oh, wow, did you?
No.
It's just really, really great bit. Just I love the visuals of
amazing.
it, the sound of the cracking glass, the fact that there's really nothing she can do. She just has to hope and not breathe and not move. It's just very visually impactful.
It's great.
Because
Well done, Steven Spielberg.
after this, the 2 teams meet, and it's kind of a nice. There's an olive branch, even though they've smashed up their camp. They help them over the cliff, and everyone's together. And finally, we get to see Pete
It's true.
Postlethwaite with some
Considering
more
some
interesting
people
characters.
presumably got injured or maybe died in that camp.
Definitely.
They're very nice of them just to accept them in without them being prisoners.
Yeah, I'm not sure I would offer them the same courtesy, to be honest.
No.
They're just, Earth first bastards.
Why do they need them?
I don't think they do need them.
Maybe they need them not to be running around.
They need them not to sabotage any more of their stuff. I guess that they are like, well, it's actually, who is it? It's Ludlow who actually knows, because basically all their equipment's destroyed, isn't it? So they're like, well done, you've destroyed art. Do you have a radio? That's why they need them. I guess your radio was in that in that lorry truck thing, trailer, wasn't it? And they're like, yeah, great. Well, now we've got no way of communicating. And then Ludlow's like, well, actually, there is an old office.
How old is that office? Because it looks like it's been derelict for about 20 years.
It's been through a hurricane. Is again one bit of information that's hidden
On
in
the
that
inside?
scene. With I know, I mean, yeah, it does look pretty smashed up.
Well, a hurricane will make the outside the inside, I think, probably.
I guess that is
a
true.
fair point.
Yeah.
But again, that information is just kind of hidden in that scene with Hammond, where I think that you're mostly just like, we're going back to the island. There's an island B, whatever. So I do think it's a bit unclear as to what happened there. I definitely didn't realise for a long I thought it was just abandoned. I just thought Jurassic Park went wrong and they abandoned the island.
Yeah.
I didn't get that they abandoned it because of a hurricane and whatever, never went back. But, so the teams are working together now.
Yeah.
This is a scene skipping into the scene which happens, I think, in that the Raptors. That's my next memory.
The Raptors.
Film.
You've got to talk about Dieter.
Dieter's death, and then there's the T-Rex in the camp scene before the Raptors.
Oh, go on then.
Yeah, well,
I've forgotten
2
this.
dinosaur kills first.
Surely you remember Dieter. He's just like an annoying, he's just a great bad guy. You just want him to die.
Peter Stormare.
Peter
Stormare.
Stormare, yeah, from Until Dawn.
And
Yeah. And the
I
Big
think this is
Lebowski.
actually a horrible death as well.
He's just a bit rubbish,
If unbelievable, yeah. The horror of it is getting turned around in the forest and no one can hit,
Yeah.
He walks off and he realizes he's lost and he's like, Carter! and he can't hear anything.
Well,
And you can
this is-
see the panic in him walking around, just going, "Where is everybody?"
This is the death that Hammond gets in Jurassic Park, the novel.
Ah.
Hammond doesn't survive the events of Jurassic Park, and he gets mauled to death by a band of compies.
Right. I was watching it last night, thinking, knowing he was going to die, and thinking, how do they get him though? Because he's just kind of he should survive this.
Yeah,
I think
he should survive
He
it.
just kind of gives up a bit. I mean, he
Yeah.
obviously falls over a big log, and they all go and finish him off. But
Well, he's telling you don't see them finish him. How do they do it? I guess it's the eyes.
it's the eyes. Yeah, they love the eyes. That's it.
My favourite bit as a kid, and I used to rewind it a lot, was when they were all on him, and he grabs one by the throat, and he goes. I used to find it hilarious. You see its little tongue going.
I couldn't help but thinking,
Funny.
Again, I couldn't help but thinking, watching it, that someone had explained to him, like, these models are extremely expensive, so we do need you to grab them. But because I was just like, snap its neck, snap its little neck. I would be snapping necks left, right, and centre. Let me tell you,
quite
I'd like
bendy
prise
necks.
its little drawers open, like that, like Kratos.
Like
that would
King
be
Kong.
one. When it gets him on the lip, oh,
that bit.
that one's
was
getting its neck
horrible.
snapped. I tell you,
Yeah, you'd be a little bit rebellious if you're Peter Stormare, wouldn't you? No, my character would do this.
yeah, yeah. Exactly.
Grab one by the tail.
Yeah, exactly. Just
like-
chew. I'd bite one.
Yeah.
I'd just rip its little back out.
Make them terrified of you. There's this set up earlier on, isn't it, where he electrocutes one of them with his little prodder.
Yeah.
And even then, you're like, oh, that compy's going to remember.
Yeah.
So I reckon there's an element to the compies of like, it's him,
Yeah.
that guy.
That's what they want.
Yeah.
The collective personality of those things, it's amazing they managed to imbue them with. They're so smug and annoying.
Yeah.
They're like
Yeah.
the kid at
Ooh,
school,
da-boo-ba-doo.
just slightly out of reach.
Yeah.
Come here, little kid.
That's the noise they make.
Teasing me.
Ooh, ooba-dooba-doo.
They go over the log and they're just like hopping up and down.
Yeah. Horrible.
Get us.
It's a horrible, if slightly unbelievable death.
They're
But
like
just
a
the
gas.
being alone, I think it's just once he's lost everybody, I was thinking, if it's not the compies, like
Who's
he's
that
dying
guy
somehow.
listening to a Walkman in the middle of a.
I know.
There's T-Rexes about, mate.
I
Come
know.
on. What's he doing?
Carter, yeah.
Also,
I'm
who's
not a fan of
who's
Carter.
asking a question and not waiting for a response? I'm going over here, mate, so you'll
Yeah.
just wait for me, yeah?
Yeah, cool.
Yeah? He must have heard
People
me.
in films.
Yeah.
People in films do that. People in films end phone conversations unnaturally early.
Yeah.
They're just like, okay, blah, 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 blah. And that's all the information we need from the scene. Bang! Phone goes down.
Yeah.
I want to
all the
be
time.
more like that on the phone.
I'd love to be more like that on the phone.
This
I'll meet you at 5 o'clock. None of the bye. You never see bye. Bye, 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 bye,
Bye,
bye
bye,
bye
bye,
bye
bye,
bye
bye,
bye 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 bye. Was obviously you get the sense that Nick Van Owen is going to sabotage Roland's gun in this little scene as well, which I find quite annoying. Like, why
I
is
think
he
he
doing
does,
that?
doesn't he?
He does
He
do
does,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, he does do it. But you just get the sense he looks across at the gun, and it's like, oh, he's going to
doesn't want any
sabotage it.
dinosaurs to get hurt.
We're all like,
What if
we're
he's
all
about
up
to
against
save
it,
a
man.
life? Yeah, I know. What if he's about to
Exactly.
save the young girls whose name I've forgotten?
Kelly, that if he basically is going to do that, and that's when it fails. I think he's also going to get his trophy, but
What does he say
it
when
isn't
fails?
hunting with it.
Does he
He's
say bastards again? Bastard.
He says bastard. Yeah, he goes to shoot and the gun jams and he looks inside and presumably it's just, I don't know, duds or blanks or shells that have been put in there
Yeah.
rather than actual live rounds.
Yeah.
And it's just bastard.
Yeah.
But I love how calm Roland is during this whole sequence.
Yeah.
We skipped ahead to the T-Rex now. There's the other brilliantly tense moment is you get the iconic ripples in the water. T-Rex
Yeah.
is coming. Everyone's asleep in the camp. Sarah wakes up and realizes it's coming. She looks up and sees, oh shit, I've put the jacket with the T-Rex infant's blood just there. It's going to smell. It's going to smell us.
Watching it this time was the first time I realised that's what that was. I thought it was her lucky pack. There's a little bit earlier where Pete Postlethwaite says, "Oh, are you bleeding?" And she's like, "No, it's the baby's blood."
No, I'm covered in the blood of an infant T-Rex.
T-Rex, and then that's just so we can then see it hung up in the tent. And I
the
didn't get that
hunter is
ever
like,
until
that's
last
fine.
night.
Don't worry about being covered in blood.
Oh yeah, that's fine. We'll be downwind of it the whole time. So yeah, you'll be fine. I didn't get that until this time. So I don't know how well that bit works, or whether I just missed it. Didn't feel very important to me. I guess that's the whole reason it comes, and I don't
Yeah.
know that it needs a reason because they've already said like it thinks its territory's bigger now, so it might just follow
I
us.
guess that's how it's zeroed in.
Yeah.
Dino sat nav.
You're right. It is pretty poor, isn't it, of Pete? Pretty poor of Pete.
Come on, Pete. You got one job.
Roland should be doing better there. He should know.
Maybe you should be taking your fee, doing your job.
Yeah, exactly.
But the bit where his head is in the tent is terrifying.
Yes.
It looks amazing as well.
Was that? Oh, that was. I wondered if that was product placement as well. They're like the little bars they've been eating. I couldn't really see what they were, so probably not. But they like it's such a weird detail.
Nature's feast.
There's these little chocolate bar things, and she has to pack them away in a little bag, like it's a bear. It's like
maybe there's a close up, but they didn't sign the deal. So
Right.
they were like, we're not putting the close up.
We're not putting the close up in.
Generic
Yeah,
bars, mate.
but it's terrifying. And Ian Malcolm remembers his training from Jurassic Park to just stand completely still.
Nobody move.
Very difficult when he's seeing his daughter's tent have a T-Rex head in it.
Yeah.
But he makes the decision not to move. And it's flipping Carter who ruins it all for everybody.
Yeah.
Again, Carter, the idiot.
Wakes up and screams.
It's a good scream.
You would, to be honest, though.
You would.
That's what a normal reaction would be. Oh, shit!
Yeah.
There's a T-Rex literally here.
I was surprised he wasn't listening to a podcast or something. Maybe this one. Just to have a little sleep to. And the character who... there's a couple of deaths in this sequence.
Yeah.
The first one, I think, is the guy who gets stood on. And
I thought that was Carter.
I think that is Carter.
It is Carter who gets stomped
Who gets
on.
stomped
He gets
on.
stuck like a bit of bubble gum.
Yeah.
It's not very realistic, is it?
I think it's
Again,
annoying.
once again.
Annoying for the T-Rex. I think it would be shaking it up. Oh, I wanted to eat you. I don't want to stand in you. And then there's the stupid, awful paleontologist who's dressed a bit like a cowboy who gets scared because a snake goes down his shirt.
So, oh yeah, yeah. Do you know he's based on? Rob knows this from IMDb. I can see and can see the look in his eyes.
He's called Robert Burke, isn't he, in the
he's-
film? I
he's-
think he's based on Robert Backer.
Backer, whose book
The
Tim
book.
had read
Yes.
in the first film.
And whose book I didn't like in real life, Raptor Red.
Yes. He tells... he's like a kind of nice enough guy in this, but there is a bit where he tells Sarah Harding that... Well, he doesn't... He's quite respectful, but he disagrees with her about something, even though she's just witnessed it like... about the T-Rex's parenting instincts, basically.
I believe
He's like,
that there was also a disagreement with like another dinosaur advisor on the film. This is probably from Wikipedia.
Right.
And that guy, the other advisor, argued that T-Rexes weren't as aggressive as they're often shown.
Right.
And Backer thought that they were. And then his character gets eaten in the movie, and he's like, well, I don't mind, because it proves my point that T-Rexes are pretty aggressive.
Right,
And
okay.
It's just funny.
Yeah, that is kind of funny. But he's scared of snakes. I don't know. Why would you wander back out towards a
If
T-Rex?
you were a snake, why are you going down the shed? The
The snake is scared. There's a T-Rex. I'm going to hide in here.
Tell me
Yeah.
about the motivations of the snakes. I've gone too far.
It's a nasty death, though, isn't it? He gets quite visually striking, gets pulled away. You just see his blood. The crunch.
I like that.
And there's blood. Whenever they show this film on TV, they cut this bit out.
Do they?
What?
Yeah.
Why?
You see him because of I've seen it be on TV at like 7 o'clock in the evening before.
Pre-Watershed.
And he gets pulled up and
Watershed.
it cuts away to just Sarah's reaction where she goes, oh.
Why are they showing this movie at all? Like, what bit?
Because probably everything else in it is fine, apart from the blood going down
Not
the waterfall.
lovely man getting ripped in
Richard
two.
Schiff.
Oh, that gets cut out as well.
Yeah.
The actual ripping in two of him.
Like Phoebe Buffay watching what happens to him? He's just like, where was the guy in the car?
He's
like,
gone
oh,
home
he's gone
now.
now. Yeah, he's home. He's okay. Don't worry about it. Yeah. And then it's the long grass. They're straight into the long grass.
Don't go into the long grass.
Don't go into the long grass, he says, running into the long grass with everybody in
Where
the...
else are they supposed to go?
They
And
did,
this-
they did the Raptors dirty in this film. They really did.
I agree. They're quite stupid
Yeah.
in this film, having been built up to be incredibly intelligent and shown to be incredibly intelligent.
But again, you can't do what they did in the first film again. So, they have an amazing build-up in the first film. You're so terrified of the Raptors before you even see the Raptors. And here, you just have to remember them from the first... Remember these? These were bad, weren't they? Now they're in the long grass.
They tell you, they try and hype it up a bit, don't they? With we have to go for the Raptors. We plan this whole trip around them, not going near them. They're too dangerous. And then they get there. I mean, obviously they're extremely dangerous, but they're just quite stupid, and it's disappointing. Now they're hunting in big packs. There's like 6 of them in the long grass, which doesn't kind of add up. You feel like they're from the first movie they'd have more territories and stuff. I do really like the visual of the channels in the long grass heading, just those dark channels being cut, paths being cut towards the people in the middle. It's kind of like sharks. There's a very shark-esque bit to this.
Well, they're pulled under the grass as well. You just get the tail
whip
flick.
of a tail.
Yeah.
And I think everyone is killed. It's a massacre.
Basically everyone apart from the main people.
Yeah, who somehow also run through the long grass.
They come after.
They do.
After the velociraptors are presumably quite sleepy.
They're all
having
sat down.
Feasted. God, I'm stuffed.
Yeah.
And Nick and Sarah and Ian and Kelly just run through.
Yeah, and get to this communications bit, which and this is again where I feel like the movie's quite confused. I just kind of want it to be the end. I kind of want them to just escape and that be it. And I know that's just what happens in Jurassic Park, and in many ways that might be a little bit underwhelming, but it's so weird. It's such an end to a movie that
you mean
isn't
that
the
they
end.
get off the island? And
Yeah, because it's not just that, but they have this whole. It's not just that they have escaped the island, but also this scene with, an extended kind of raptor hunt where they're split up and they're all fighting with it, and Kelly gets her moment to do her gymnastics and kick a raptor.
That was terrible, and I remember it very
terrible.
clearly. I quite like the. I mean, it's as good a payoff as you can get.
Yeah,
they kicked you off the team.
Yeah,
great, but the fact that I would have bought it more, right, if she had just done pure functional, I'm going to swing around and kick you.
Yeah.
But she's like changing bars.
Yeah. I know. When she applied chalk to her hands, I was like, that is...
The dismount was too much.
Yeah. That was too far. Again, they make them look really stupid.
Just imagine an alternative version of the scene where she lands. And it just cuts to some judges. 10.
Yeah.
And they're all dinosaurs.
Again, no, just think... They've been the Raptors.
Don't put it past the new one to do something like that.
They really dumb down what the Raptors are. They hunt. In the first movie, they built up, told so many times how clever they are that you think they're coming from one direction, then they're somewhere else. They're distracting. They're working as a pack. In this, they just split up. They argue at one point. There's two Raptors having an argument and just completely miss dinner. There's that bit. It's just a bit of comedy.
That
really
shows how intelligent they are.
Yeah.
Now I think we should go around the back. Shut up! We're going under. All right.
There's just a bit of comedy where, which I do kind of like,
Neil.
Where Malcolm goes through the door and it goes through the window. He goes back through the door.
I do like that.
He comes back through the window and he just holds the door and gets shoved through a window.
This is so much like, and actually I'd got them mixed up in my head. This is so much like the electrical substation section of the first film. Raptors in a small compound area somewhere.
Yes.
It's weird. I just felt like I'd seen it before.
Yeah, but worse. I think it's just
slightly worse. Yeah, with Jim.
It's tense. It's still tense. There's a lot of they're obviously on the edge the whole time. He's in the car and it's coming through the window. That's quite horrible. Them digging to get away. I do think it's a really good jump scare as well, where she's pushing Kelly through, going I'll be right behind you, and then
yeah,
it's a good bit. But
I totally agree with you that this film feels over, and the T-Rex in San Diego just feels like that's a whole movie. It's not doing it justice. It's like this weird kind of epilogue. I think that the idea was originally going to be perhaps for a sequel, and Spielberg was like, well, I'm probably not going to direct a sequel, so I'd
like to do this bit too.
Do this now.
Yeah,
it's got to be half the movie if it's any of the movie, I think.
I agree. Yeah, it's very.
I like it. I like
because it eats a dog.
But there's also that brilliant. I really enjoy just the flip of we've had people in dinosaurs' world. Now there's a dinosaur in people's world. It's just interesting on that level. But also, it's a great scene when the ship comes in.
The ship coming in is good.
We can't raise the ship. It's coming in and reduce your speed over. You just see the little dot. I love that's a really good tense bit. Everyone's just waiting to see the ship.
Master.
Everyone's looking out at it. It's ages before you see what everyone is looking at. And we have to wait for Ludlow to slowly come out of his office, turn around and look before we see this thing just crack. And you know what's happened inside.
I think it would have been better if they had teased this right at the beginning. If you just seen the family scene. The film had been, instead of loads of tiny things on the beach, if it had been that kid waking up and trying to get his parents out of bed, and then the first time you see a dinosaur is there's a T-Rex eating a dog somewhere, and then it's 3 months earlier or whatever.
Right.
Or, that would have been way better. And then at least, I don't know, having it at the end, I'm so ready. Because then the whole movie, you'll be thinking, where the fuck was that T-Rex? Although I guess then the T-Rex is going to end up in San Diego. But for me, like I'm just ready to end. You can't do this in 10 minutes. I think that's my big, or 15, however long it is. I really enjoy the visuals of it. And they were, I think, discussing internally, the problem with putting a T-Rex or any dinosaur in the human world is it's very difficult not to just be remaking Godzilla, is how they put it. And
that's that great bit where there's some Japanese tourists running away from it.
Yeah.
That's so Godzilla-esque.
Yeah.
Just Japanese businessmen in suits turning around looking terrified at this T-Rex.
And this was the year before, I think it was Sony, but they'd already announced their big... is it Jean Reno in Godzilla?
So that was a year after this.
Yeah, so that must have already been kind of happening.
A film I went to cinema with my girlfriend when I was 11.
I really wanted to do that as a bonus episode because I've never seen that film.
Oh,
we're doing.
Well, we can still do that. Yeah.
We're doing Jaws.
Jaws.
You can tell that it was Rob's idea to do Jaws. We're doing fucking Jaws, all right? Or I can just watch it. There's nothing to stop me from just watching it.
Well, we could do a bonus episode on it. I don't know. Anyway, for another time. But
another time.
Yeah, I totally agree. They've had this big end scene at the island, and now this bit just feels tacked on, and they can't do it justice. There's they try. I do like the scene with the swimming pool and the dog and the family. That's nice. I think that actually a T-Rex being in a city, it just doesn't come anywhere close to it. You see some cars crashing themselves.
Yeah.
Quite like it attacking the bus. That's good.
Ultimately,
one man is eaten.
Godzilla.
That's David Co-op who gets eaten.
Oh, is it?
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
See, Godzilla can destroy a city.
Yeah.
And he might be impervious to nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
He's a big lad. One T-Rex is like a big
elephant.
bear.
No one has fired a gun at all the police run away. I was like, I'm pretty sure this is your this is your area, police.
T-Rexes.
Well, they've got guns. at least wind the windows down and shoot at it.
You couldn't even get his wrist together.
Imagine just getting that cool. No.
It
goes into Blockbuster. There's a Robin Williams film being advertised.
Yeah,
I think it's a pretend.
it's a fake film, right?
Like Jack and the Beanstalk, isn't
Yeah.
it?
I really enjoyed that.
I enjoyed that too.
There's also that sign it goes through at the dock, which is like 10'4".
That's great.
10'4" clearance, no animals beyond this
animals,
point.
yeah.
That is great. Welcome
Really
to
good.
America. And that is the, objects in the mirror may be closer than they appear moment of this movie. It's a really, really good bit. And the big 76 ball rolling past is nice. But
the look the T-Rex gives them as well, because Malcolm has just said if he sees us again with the baby, isn't he going to be like, you? And then the T-Rex does just turn around and look at them with that look on its face. It's like, no way.
Yeah.
And I think that the plan to get the T-Rex back onto the ship, I think it's slightly ridiculous again. And I also think that Junior Hammond's behaviour in I'm going to go down into this dead end. I'm just going to follow this little T-Rex.
Yeah.
Come on.
I always...
Absolutely.
I've done a lot...
There you are.
For a long time, I've done an impression of him doing that. Are you there? And he's going down the steps. Hello, are you there? And he's sort of, I like how broken he is by the situation. And Malcolm says to him, doesn't it, now you're John Hammond. That's quite a good bit. And I like how broken he is. And he's on the phone telling the helicopter to shoot the T-Rex. Not the baby, you idiot. I want that one.
Baby alive.
Yeah.
Shoot it. Tell them to shoot it.
It shouldn't be that hard to shoot it.
No, it's massive. Although the police are just driven away. So we're like, well, no, I'll do it in a helicopter. I'm not doing it from a car.
See, yesterday on TikTok, I was served, I don't know what game this guy's running them in, but he does simulations of, so this was 100 Arnold Schwarzenegger T100s or 1000s, whatever it is, versus 100.
Which one is it? It's important.
100,000 aliens.
Okay.
Xenomorphs.
Well, with their acid blood, that could
the
be problematic.
Xenomorphs are winning that.
I think so.
Surely.
Well, they just let the simulation run, and I guess they've all got like a set life, firepower.
Yeah.
I don't think acid blood was.
Oh well, that's why they're winning.
I've seen loads of these.
And what happened was
They're so watchable.
the bodies of the aliens gradually became a mountain. So by the end, there's about 25 Arnold Schwarzenegger T-100s
Yeah.
defending this mountaintop from this like endless surge of aliens, and they do die in the end. I think they killed 985,000
Wow.
of the xenomorphs before. So that I would say that that's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Spartans.
And the reason I thought of that is because I would like to see a real T-Rex.
Yeah.
And I want to see what it takes to bring it down. I want to see it shot, because when you shoot Godzilla, it just pings off.
Yeah.
Like, nothing
Well,
happens.
Pete Postlethwaite thinks he's doing it with a shotgun.
That's
Pete
true.
Postlethwaite would have taken it down if Nick Van Owen hadn't sabotaged his gun.
With a shotgun.
Well, he'd have found something. You tranquilise it, and then you go up to its eye with a shotgun.
That wasn't his plan though.
down.
His plan was
Just me and the beast.
Just to shoot it.
Once I've tranquilized it, I'm going to shoot it through the eye with my massive gun.
That would work. That would work.
Assumably one of the best hunters in the world. Like, you know my trick? I always kill the animals when they're sleeping.
Imagine the children crying in the cinema as this scene happens. What the hell's happening?
Here's my lucky knife. Let's put it to some good use.
So I'd like to see that anyway.
Rock-a-bye T-Rex.
Where would you shoot, apart from in the eye, where would you shoot a T-Rex?
In its open mouth, yeah.
In its mouth.
That's it.
That's the
Great.
weak point in the video game. You have to wait till it roars and then rocket launcher in the mouth.
Yeah.
Rocket launcher.
That's what happens in Dino Crisis. Dino Crisis, you rocket launcher it in the side of the head early on, and it has like a wound on its eye for the whole game.
The documentary Dino Crisis.
T-Rexes aren't that. They're not that much bigger than elephants, right? Maybe the size of 2 elephants. And so
There's a special gun to kill an elephant.
it's not like a.
Well, that's what
I'm
it's got,
saying.
isn't it?
Like humans,
Yeah, I guess it is an
It's
elephant
not
gun,
like
yeah.
an indestructible monster. Humans could definitely take down a T-Rex with guns.
Well, T-Rex, didn't it famously have like the brain the size of a pea?
Yeah.
In that giant head. So you could shoot it in the head a lot and not get anywhere near its brain, is what I'm saying.
That's why I was thinking you go for the heart, the lungs.
Yeah. That's his, massive
You
heart.
need one of those special
you
magic
can't miss the
arrows
heart.
that they took Smaug down with to get through
Exactly.
its scaly hide.
Yeah.
Well,
But back to the boat.
There's a scale missing. That's how they get through the
Oh, yeah.
the hide.
Back to the boat, and are you there? It's great. It's great. I don't know why. I think it's a bit much that Malcolm and Sarah jump off the boat to then swim round and get back on it again. But I like that they really just sell.
It's again, quite video gamey.
They sell how evil Ludlow is at the end here, because he's sort of stalking the baby, and you know, when he thinks it's just him in it, he's kind of after it and he's going to grab it, and he's pretending to be nice. Are you there? But then he's like, come on, you shit. And he doesn't hear mummy or daddy coming, and
Daddy's gone into stealth mode at this point. I can't
Yeah.
do the water rumble otherwise.
yeah, exactly. Like, I can actually tiptoe if I
Just
need
gonna
to.
tiptoe.
Yeah, very quiet, and we get this sense of proud parents
Yes.
of like, I'll just maim him, okay?
And then you
finish him off.
It's a teachable moment.
You're becoming a T-Rex.
I love Ludlow's pathetic. Please. Oh, wait. Let me tell you something.
If I was going to be killed, I would definitely say, wait. Yeah, let me
To a
tell you
T-Rex.
something. Is that from something else? Is that from
There's a meme, a guy who's going bungee jumping and he's too scared.
I want to tell you something.
Oh, well, let me tell you something.
Just bikes for seconds. It's so good. Wait.
What is it you want to tell me, Mr.
Yeah.
Ludlow?
And his beautiful, expensive suit
Yeah.
is ruined.
It's ruined and he's dead.
And there's I don't know that I like this. They try to create some tension at the end of, will the T-Rex be shot to death by the helicopter, or will Sarah manage to tranquilize it in time and we get the slow motion dart going and we get some slow motion T-Rex flesh wobbling, and just doesn't kind of work for me at all. It's just a weird.
It's because the film ended 20 minutes ago.
Exactly. I'm so out. And then the actual end is us watching the TV, which is a bit of a weird cop
And they're
out, isn't
all
it?
living happily ever after on the island.
Yeah.
T-Rex mum and dad with the baby T-Rex and some stegosauruses just walking past.
I think that
Nonplussed.
last visual is terrible.
They would just eat them, right?
I hate that. It's so twee and cheesy, and I don't think the effects are very good. And yeah,
It's
it
a
doesn't
bit-
seem to stand
yeah.
up like.
It's a little bit The Land Before Time, isn't it? It's just like a
Yeah,
cartoon.
it's very cartoony.
Everyone lives harmoniously together, happy.
Yeah. And it's really because they just don't have an end, do they? It's because the T-Rex is safe, and it's like there's no end, really.
And we see some pterodactyls at the end, which I do like to think is a little nod to people getting confused by the birds at the end of the first film.
Yes. And I don't know whether they had the third film in mind, but it might also be a bit of...
I do not think they did.
These might be
Yeah,
in
we
the
had
next
there was a
movie.
long wait until number 3, if I remember.
There was the same wait. Well, I can tell you some
Oh, was there?
information. Should I?
I
should
would love
do
some information.
Some box office business. So this made for a budget. The first one was 66 million, I think.
Yeah.
And this one was 73 million. So
Okay.
not that much
Not
more.
much more.
And we got
The first Jurassic Park had a budget of 66 million.
yeah.
Almost exactly the amount of
number of
time in
millions of-
years that they went extinct.
Yeah.
That's what they said.
That's what they.
They said, I'll tell you what, have 1 more million on top.
Yeah,
Have one more.
as a little bonus, and it made $618 million.
Wow.
Whoa.
worldwide. So it's still a huge, just not $1 billion.
Oh, The Lost
Yeah.
World made 600. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is done fantastically well. Roger Ebert.
I hope he gets it right this
Who
time.
had given. Well, I feel like there's some shenanigans going on here. So Roger Ebert gave the first film 3 out of 4, but if you remember, he said that there was no life to the human characters.
Yeah.
This time he says 2 out of 4. It can be said that the creatures in this film transcend any visible signs of special effects, but the same realism isn't brought to the human characters. So it's basically the same complaint.
Yeah.
And what I think he's done there is, as everyone's banged on about how brilliant Jurassic Park is for 4 years,
Yeah.
he's forgotten that he originally said that the human characters in it were rubbish.
Yes.
And he's made the same complaint about the second film.
Yeah.
So Poor from Roger
still
Ebert.
I agree. There's definitely some characters in this that I think are less rounded and that I don't care for, and there's less of a arc for people, really. I think no one learns anything, do they? Does anyone learn anything?
no,
They're all the
Pete
same.
Postlethwaite learns that he shouldn't have just been killing things for a living.
Yeah.
That's it.
So I think
I'm-
he's more right this time.
I'm not bothered about people learning things in films. I
No,
think this
that's fine, but-
obsession with character arcs has got to end.
I'm not obsessed with it either, but I'm saying I think that his criticism is more accurate this time than it
I
actually
think so, yeah.
stands up this time. The characters in this are less well drawn.
Yeah.
Well, let's see what you think about Owen Gleiberman from Entertainment Weekly, who said, Mr. T-Rex was cool in the first Spielberg flick, sure, but it wasn't until San Diego that things got crazy cool. So that was what he thought. He really liked it.
Yeah.
I thought the San Diego sequence was great.
Crazy cool.
Not crazy cool, but just brilliant.
Crazy brilliant.
As a kid, I was disappointed when everyone gets off the island because that's it for the dinosaurs, and then it's just like
Not if the credits roll. You
and
go,
then
"There,
your
good,
mum
yeah."
comes in with another massive present. When you think you've opened all your presents, it's like the dinosaurs is still here.
Yeah.
There's some more dinosaur action.
But you can have too
Great.
much of a good thing, can't you?
Not
And now
when
we're
you-
back on.
not when you're
what's
12.
this? That we're watching the ship and it's broken free, and now it's on a destroyer. It's jumped onto a destroyer that's got nuclear missiles on board. Oh my god! And it's sailing. It's
Towards
into
somewhere
allied
else.
waters. This is terrible. You can have too much of a good thing.
and then,
That's crazy cool.
so Jurassic Park 3 was, I think they were always going to make a sequel to this highly successful movie. Spielberg had denied about making the second one and was never really in contention for making the third one, but he was a producer, though apparently he wasn't really on set. Joe Johnson, who was one of those, a friend of Spielberg and a filmmaker in that orbit. I think what did he make? Gremlins? I believe.
don't know. I know the
Small
name.
Soldiers, I believe, is Joe Johnston. I think he made the first Captain America movie, maybe. But anyway, he volunteered after I think he spoke to him after the first one and said, I'd love to do if you ever do a sequel, I'd love to do a sequel. So, but he didn't get that.
Yeah, I
this
bet
one.
you with Joe. Surely everyone was coming up going like, "Are we doing anyone doing another
They're,
Jurassic Park?
they're
I'll do it.
collaborators.
I'll do it if you like.
They're fellow filmmakers.
Just say I'll do it if you want.
Well, do you know what? Spielberg was like, yeah, all right. So you can shut up, Dave, because that is what happened, isn't it? So that he wasn't announced until quite late on, but so he'd always been in the background as someone who might make the next film. It was announced.
We got Johnson here. Nobody cares.
It was announced in 1998. Michael Crichton was initially going to collaborate with Spielberg on this story, but didn't. I think it was it sounds like I haven't written down all the different versions, but there were just drafts and drafts and drafts. So it was, and I don't think they necessarily had a completely finished script, even as they were beginning filming. One draft.
I know one scene that they definitely had, which I'm excited to revisit.
I can barely remember this film, even though I was working at a cinema when this was on, and I used to watch it fairly regularly, all different bits of it. One draft had Alan Grant secretly living on another island, like Robinson Crusoe.
What's happened to him?
But just that he wanted to research the dinosaurs and they wouldn't let him. So he was like, I'll just go and live with the dinosaurs. Johnston was announced and people did care in August 1999. And Sam Neill signed on to reprise his role as Alan Grant in June 2000.
Ooh.
Do you know what that meant?
No.
That he turned down a role in Lord of the Rings.
Elrond?
Apparently it was Gandalf. I don't know how much I believe
Gandalf?
it. He won't say. He's like, why would I say that's
Sam Neill.
Sam Neill. I can see
it.
I can see Elrond, although Hugo Weaving is... Well, this is why he won't say, because the people who are in those roles are brilliant.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want to be that guy.
Oh, man. I'm so gutted for him.
Well, maybe he's made... The people in Lord of the Rings didn't make that much money.
No.
But it's actually, you can see all this... They have clips of that all the time. Just and they're not grousing. They're all like... Kate Blanchett was like, I think I got paid a sandwich. And Elijah Wood was saying they didn't get very much money.
I think Elijah Wood got more money for his cameo in The Hobbit, didn't he, famously, than
Yes.
for his entire work on the trilogy.
So you think about Sam Neill doing this and then coming back for Jurassic World, probably got loads of money for that. So hopefully it paid off.
He's doing all right.
And I really like Sam Neill. It seems
too.
like a bloody good bloke.
Yeah.
And filming began in August 2000 and the film was released in July 2001. So the same gap between sequels.
Oh, that is
It felt like I was waiting forever when I was a child.
Yeah.
Please.
It's interesting
Give
you
me-
mentioned the
I want more
draft
dinosaurs.
about Alan Grant living with dinosaurs, just because I wonder if there is a character in this movie who effectively is Robinson Crusoe'd and lives with the dinosaurs for a bit. And I wonder if that's just... I kind
That's
of
how
like
they
that
do
idea,
movies,
but
innit?
I don't think it's Alan Grant, so maybe we'll swap that around.
Yeah. We'll keep the Robinson Crusoe, but
Yeah,
this
that's
guy
a great
doesn't.
idea.
And this guy rides bikes.
Yeah. How many times have you seen this movie, Rob?
Jurassic Park 3?
Yeah.
Not maybe 3 or 4 times.
Do you think of yourself? I'm wondering, like, just our impressions of it, our kind of thoughts on it before we watch it. Where do you stand on it?
It was the first Jurassic Park film I ever remember being disappointed with.
See,
Yeah.
I by the time I was watching this one, I remember it must have crystallized in my head that the second one wasn't very good, and I had low expectations for this one. I remember seeing it at the Odeon in Sheffield when I was working there and thinking that was actually pretty good, not brilliant, pretty good.
Yeah.
Really like pterodactyls.
I think it's my thoughts on it are that I'm pretty sure it's objectively bad, but I have a real soft spot for it,
Interesting.
and I think I enjoy a lot of it. And yeah, if you just go in with low expectations and take it for what it is, there's something there. But
Yeah.
it will be interesting.
We will see.
We will.
We will. We'll see next week. I think, we don't have a bonus episode this week, do we? We
do
have
not.
one after Jurassic Park 3, we've already mentioned, and you can see it on our schedule. We'll be watching Jaws. But next Monday, join us once again for Jurassic Park 3. Please do continue to send us in your emails at redshirtcinemaclub@gmail.com. Leave us a little comment on Patreon or on YouTube if you're listening to the podcast on there. And we will see you next time for more dinosaur action. You've been listening to Redshirt Cinema Club. If you're enjoying the podcast, please consider supporting us on Patreon. Just check the link in the description. We'd also love to hear from you. Email us at redshirtcinemaclub@gmail.com or follow us on social media. We'll be back with another episode next Monday. See you then.